compulsory for all stations in Nigeria to only broadcast productions made in Nigeria for products which are produced in Nigeria. Since coming into office in 2015, the Buhari administration has recorded unprecedented achievements in all sectors, especially
Hello and welcome to Nationwide Today. I am Elizabeth Omori. Nigeria has recalled its ambassador in Indonesia for a diplomatic consultation over the recent manhandling of an envoy by immigration officials in Jakarta last weekend. Foreign desk correspondent Usman Ali now reports.
No, I can breathe.
This video is the reason Nigeria decided to engage in detailed diplomatic consultation to determine the future of relations with Indonesia.
Illegal action took place during a roundup by Indonesian immigration officials or search for irregular and illegal migrants in their country.
And the next step for the government here is to engage in backroom diplomacy about the matter, which it says contravene international law on diplomacy.
When we called the ambassador back for consultations, and those consultations be wider than the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It'll be at the highest level of government, and we will then decide when we have all the elements and other actors beyond Ministry of Foreign Affairs are also involved. So it will be an all-of-government decision with regards to how we go forward with relations with Indonesia.
Nigeria and Indonesia have been in relations since 1965. And it was Jakarta who started the diplomatic mission in Nigeria, the first it established in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria and Indonesia have multi-millions of dollars trade relations, which is the second largest in the continent. That is why both countries act to defuse the issue and avoid diplomatic row. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Over 24,000 Nigerian passports have been processed by the Nigerian High Commission in the United Kingdom in the last 3 months. The Nigerian High Commissioner to the UK, Ambassador Tunji Sharafa-Ishola, discussed this when the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, paid him a courtesy visit in London.
Ambassador Ishola explained that the Nigerian mission has cleared a backlog of 17,000 applications, adding that the mission now post-processed passports to applicants rather than the previous process of coming back to collect their passports. The Nigerian High Commissioner has advised Nigerians to apply for renewal 6 months, which will now have a 10-year validity.
The issue of consular services, particularly passport, has really improved with what was met on ground.
Presenting a copy of the recently ratified and adopted National Diaspora Policy to the High Commissioner, NIDCOM Chairman Abike Dabiri-Erewa commended the innovations as it relates to issuance of passports.
We just have to ensure that the mission sustains it and keeps it up. So it's been quite encouraging what I hear from Nigerians here in the UK mission, particularly as it relates to passport.
Yeah, well, better than it used to be before.
Some Nigerians present at the mission also commented.
It's been a long time I've been here. I never like to come to this place, but in this situation I have to come because I used to do my passport in Nigeria. But because of the pandemic, my passport happens to expire. But I came, but it's very, very different.
The ambassador and Mama Diaspora, they've been doing so well. They should just keep it up with what they're doing. We are very, very impressed.
The High Commissioner and NIDCOM urged various diaspora groups in the UK to work in unity to fast-track development back home, as well as strengthen bilateral relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
In other news, the House of Representatives Committee on Healthcare Services is mediating in the ongoing industrial action by members of the National Association of Resident Doctors towards resolving the issues at stake. A meeting involving representatives of the association, the Ministry of Health, the Budget Office and other stakeholders was held at the instance of the committee. The chairman of the committee stressed that dialogue remains the most viable option to resolve the issues. The meeting, which continues, will hopefully achieve a headway on the impasse. 176,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine to arrive in Nigeria by Wednesday as the country sets to begin second phase of vaccination program on August 16. These were revealed at the bi-weekly ministerial briefing on COVID-19 in Abuja. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
Contrary to the misinformation about Nigeria postponing second phase of COVID-19 vaccination due to safety and efficacy concerns, the briefing explains observation of standard protocol as reason for the shift from 10th to 16th August.
We take about 15 working days to approve a vaccine, and it is round-the-clock type of vetting to ensure that we have taken note of all the peculiarities.
The final parts of the preparations for the rollout is around making sure that every single pack has the right labeling, the right tracking, the right barcodes that will ensure that no matter where these vaccines are, we can actually know where we deployed those vaccines to.
Also taking additional precautions here in Nigeria to make sure that after using vaccination, the little vials in which they came in are crushed so that they can't be used by people to make fake products and pushed into the market.
The Moderna jab, having been certified safe, efficient and effective, will be administered to persons aged 18 years and above. Meanwhile, the expected Johnson & Johnson single shot is said to be programmed for people in hard-to-reach areas. The ultra-cold chain equipment needed to store the vaccines are already provided in all states and the FCT. The Primary Healthcare Development Agency said it has, however, integrated whole family health approach in health facilities, taking cognizance of other public health challenges like the current cholera outbreak. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Still on COVID-19, the Niger Center for Disease Control says as at 9th of August 2021, 422 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria. Lagos has the highest figure of 190, Rivers 86, Ogun 85, Oyo 22, FCT 20, Kwara 7, Edo 5, Abia 4 and Bayelsa 3. So far, 178,508 cases have been confirmed in the country, with 165,982 discharged and 2,192 deaths recorded. And for more on COVID-19 containment, let's join Adiola in Lagos. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Elizabeth. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. 1st of August was another milestone for Nigeria in the fight against COVID-19 with the arrival of the Moderna vaccine. This is an indication that government is determined more than ever to achieve herd immunity and end COVID-19 in the country. But are people ready to be vaccinated? Hengino John Adams tells us more.
The end of June witnessed a drastic decline in the number of new COVID-19 infections in Lagos. With positivity rate of 1 to 1.5%, some Lagos residents thought the end of the dreaded virus has come. But their hopes were dashed when the third wave began in July, recording 7 to 9% positivity rate. The third surge threatens to be more deadly, with the Delta variant spreading fast.
The Delta variant is the fastest and the fittest variant of this coronavirus. It is highly transmissible.
The way out of this disastrous situation, experts have said, is adherence to non-pharmaceutical measures and full vaccination. Lagos remains the epicenter in Nigeria, and only about 1% of the population fully vaccinated. This figure is low, and the government is working tirelessly to ensure 60% of the Lagos residents are fully inoculated to achieve herd immunity.
Following the receipt of the first installment of AstraZeneca vaccine from the federal government earlier in the year, Lagos State administered a total of 404,414 first doses and a little over 243,000 for second doses.
We can see the impact of the vaccine on the country like USA. We were here when they were recording hundreds of thousands on daily basis, and they started having reprieve when they were scaling up their vaccination.
Enlightenment campaigns about the importance and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines have been on.
I just feel I've not taken it. I've not taken it at all. I won't lie to you. If I have a chance now, I can take it.
Research reveals that majority of COVID-19 cases that have led to fatalities in some parts of the world were unvaccinated persons. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Now away to security matters. No other activity prepares a military force better for combat than combat itself. This explains why the Nigerian Army continuously organizes training for its personnel with provision of logistics to enhance confidence, competence to reinvigorate and empower them. Lynn Leneke reports on this year's combat proficiency competition in Lagos.
Every skill requires sustained effort or training to perfect it. This is why training on combat readiness and proficiency remains critical to military operations among mid-level officers in the Nigerian Army hierarchy. These mid-level officers are currently undergoing various trainings, ranging from weapon handling to live shooting, among others, to tackle headlong the insecurity ravaging parts of the country. Representative of the General Officer Commanding 81 Division says the training focuses on operations inclined to improve officers' combat efficiency, aimed at further professionalizing the Nigerian Army.
We are training to improve our proficiency, to have a professional army that is ready to accomplish a mission within a joint environment in defense of Nigeria.
9 Brigade, 81 Division Garrison, 35 Artillery, and 45 Brigade Engineers are the 4 teams participating in the exercise. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
You are still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a short break. Nationwide continues shortly.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
as Nigeria diversifies its agricultural resources as alternative to crude oil, this week, Tuesday Live shall focus on the National Agricultural Lands Development Authority, NALDA, food sufficiency and national security. Tuesday Live, every week at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
Admission forms into NTA Television College JOS 2021-2022 2-year National Innovation Diploma Program are on sale from 9th of August to 29th of October 2021. Candidates who wish to apply for admission must have 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. The admission forms can be obtained at NTA Television College or any NTA station nationwide at the cost of 7,500 naira only. Payment for the form is through remitter platform only in favor of NTA Television College. For more inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
Dear compatriots, our country can be as great as we want.
Let us all commit ourselves to its greatness.
We must be willing to set aside our differences, unite and stay as one.
In our expansive landmass, human and material resources, and plurality lies our strength.
Let our challenges lead us to rediscover our common ground, and together, let's find solutions.
This will take some time, so it requires patience, tolerance, and forgiveness from every one of us.
Let all hands come on deck to protect and transform our country.
Let us unite and see each other not as adversaries, but as brothers and sisters.
Together, we can build a better Nigeria for ourselves and for the next generations.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA, with support from Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
The Blues will look to start the new season with a victory against former rival Patrick Vieira as he leads his London side, Crystal Palace, to Stamford Bridge. This Saturday, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress in Akwa Ibom State have passed a vote of confidence on President Muhammadu Buhari and the national leadership of the party. This was at a thank you rally for the successful ward congresses across the Federation. Clement Barakwi reports.
The thank you rally held at the APC Secretariat Uyo attracted party stakeholders from the 31 local government areas. Citing the just concluded World Congresses, the people said the president has kept to his words of an all-inclusive polity.
If you look at under Buhari administration, it is the only president in the history of Nigeria that has rolled out the highest number of social investment programs.
Mr. President has come out to be one singular individual that has felt for the common people. If you look at his programs, for the common people, for the vulnerable, for the communities, for the society.
Mr. President has done so well for the country. He has managed the nation very effectively.
This is the first time that we are doing consensus building of the party.
Material was sent to all the world. They voted for their choice, no party, nothing.
The performances of the state and national leadership of the party also received the commendation of the stakeholders. In Uyo, Clement Barakwi, NTA News.
And still on party matters, a high-level meeting of the members of the People's Democratic Party is ongoing at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja. Correspondent Timothy Yusuf reports that the meeting is aimed at resolving the internal crisis bedeviled the party in the last few days. It is convened at the instance of the party's Board of Trustees, with 13 governors of the party as well as National Working Committee in attendance. The Deputy Governor of Zamfara State is also attending the meeting expected to bring an end to the crisis rocking the party's leadership. More details on the meeting in a subsequent bulletin. The leadership of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has inaugurated a 9-man electoral committee to pilot the electoral process ahead of the 7th Triennial Delegates Conference slated for October 2021 in Umuahia, Abia State. Tessie Omeri reports that the NUJ president inaugurated the committee members at NUJ's National Secretariat, Abuja.
9-man electoral committee that will conduct the 7th Triennial Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, were drawn from the 6 zones in the country. While inaugurating the members, the president of the NUJ, Chris Isiguzo, says the selection of members was done during the National Executive Council meeting to conduct a credible election on 4th of October 2021 in Umuahia, Abia State.
NEC didn't just go out to bring people. They took leaders of the union at different levels. Those who understand how the union works, who have capacity to appropriately dot the I's and cross the T's.
He added that the constitution of the NUJ, which stipulates 36 months tenureship, must be adhered to, calling on the committee members to keep sentiments aside. Chairman of the Electoral Committee, Garba Mohammed, promised the NUJ free, fair and credible elections.
In a very short time, we'll come up with a guideline for the election. It will be on our platform for those aspiring, and even those that are coming for voting should know what is expected of them in Abia.
High point was the handing over of the NUJ constitution and other documents to the committee members who have already commenced their assigned responsibility. Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Into education, the West African Examinations Council says preparations have been concluded for the conduct of the 2021 examinations scheduled to commence on August 16, 2021 to October 8, 2021. Head of the National Office, Mr. Patrick Eregan, speaking while handing over the renovated WAEC branch office complex in Calabar, which was destroyed during the NSAS protest, explained that the examination earlier scheduled for May-June this year was distorted in the sub-region due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Achibong Basi reports.
The sad incident of October 24, 2020 forced the council to relocate its operations to the Uyo Zonal office for the self-custody of all security materials to meet the needs of residents of Cross River State and its clients. Moved by the difficult operational conditions under which the Calabar office operated within the period, the management of the West African Examinations Council swung into action to ensure the office is renovated before the commencement of the 2021 examinations.
Yes, this is for the Nigerian child. Remember the question I asked? When this happened, the question popped up, what was to be done? It means we would have to continue to render services to the Nigerian child and satisfy the interests of other stakeholders.
Stakeholders commend the management of WAEC for its high responsiveness in renovating the complex, commitment to staff welfare, and best operational practices. The council renewed its appeal to the Cross River State government to fulfill its part of the promises made to the council after the pains and losses from the End SARS protest that destroyed property in the council's office. In Calabar, Achibong Basi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku of Taraba State has recommended punitive measures against parents and guardians who intentionally deny their wards access to free and compulsory education in the state. This was during the flag-off of the Better Education Service Delivery for All. Joseph Zanagambo reports.
Nigeria is currently estimated to have more than 10 million out-of-school children. Taraba State is rated among states with the highest number. It is against this background that Taraba State is selected as one among the 17 states to benefit from the Better Education Service Delivery for All an initiative of the Federal Ministry of Education. Governor Darius Ishaku emphasized the importance of basic education in early child development.
Government will take harsh measures against parents or guardians who intentionally deny their children access to free and compulsory education in the state.
Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Unwajuba, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Sunday Echonu, said the program is aimed at increasing equitable access for out-of-school children.
Education is at the heart of national development, and it is a priority of this our administration's next level agenda in Nigeria.
We are particularly pleased that His Excellency has added over 3,000 qualified teachers to the workforce in this state.
Other stakeholders at the event pledged their commitment to the success of the program. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide, let's join Salamatu in Kaduna. Over to you, Salamatu.
Elizabeth, and a warm welcome. Kaduna State government says it will continue to come up with programs and incentives to support and empower women, particularly widows and the less privileged. The state deputy governor, Hadiza Balarabe, gave the indication when she granted audience to some women groups, including members of the Federation of Muslim Women Association of Nigeria, Form 1, Kaduna State Chapter. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun reports.
With widows and most vulnerable, particularly rural communities, in focus, the Kaduna State government, as a deliberate policy, domiciles some programs in line ministries to cater for the basic needs of the less privileged. Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe asked the women to look beyond this interaction by engaging ministries such as agriculture, human services, and social development to leverage on such initiatives that will better their lots.
These women who now have to fend for themselves and for their families. So I think it's really very important that you know what we have on the Kaduna state side, that you can also cash in and continue to help us so that we can help them.
The women groups are expected to take the message of hope to their counterparts and sensitize them on the benefit derivable from the various government intervention initiatives. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
In spite of the ban on commercial motorcycle operation in Kaduna city center and other major towns in the state, there is a resurgence of motorcycles in the restricted areas in violation of the laws of the state. Haruna Muhammad in this report takes a look at the provision of the laws prohibiting commercial motorcycle operation and the return of the operators on the streets. The report.
Commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada or Achaba in some quarters, was once most preferred means of intra-city commercial transportation for the common man because of the ability of riders to maneuver through traffic gridlock, difficult terrains, or hard-to-reach locations. In 2014, under the then administration, through the Kaduna State House of Assembly, commercial motorcycle operation in Kaduna metropolis was banned for some reasons, including security. That provision was further reviewed by the administration of Malam Nasir El-Rufai in 2018. Contrary to the laws, major cities in Kaduna metropolis and environs are witnessing a resurgence of commercial motorcycles.
They felt that they can easily come to Kaduna State and then operate without any hindrance. But unfortunately for them, we also have a law that bans them, and whoever we arrest, we always punish him based on the laid down rules and regulations.
Commercial motorcycle operation, as is being argued in some quarters, is a stopgap arising from youth unemployment and economic downturn.
Everything for my life inside this Okada, now I survive.
I look for job, I no get.
These reasons notwithstanding, what are the social implications of the operators' disobedience to the laws of the land? Can its services justify the social consequences such as security or safety of lives and property? These and more are expected to be answered in our next report on the subject matter. In Kaduna, Haruna Muhammad, NTA News.
That ends our package from Kaduna. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Salamatu. The little boy, AJ Moses, who was kidnapped during a recent attack on Ochoro and Igede community in Konshisha local government area, has been rescued and handed over to Governor Samuel Ortom at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports that the traditional ruler who was kidnapped with the boy was killed.
It will be recalled that during the recent stakeholders meeting convened by Governor Samuel Ortom to find a lasting peace between Bonta community in Konshisha and Ukute community in Oji local government areas, the governor gave a marching order to the chairman of Konshisha Local Government Council, James Jiga, to ensure that the little boy, Eje Moses, who was allegedly abducted during the attack on Ochoro community, be searched for, rescued, and reunited with his parents. Chairman of Konshisha Local Government Council, James Jiga, said, in compliance with the order, the community was ransacked and the boy was found. Governor Samuel Ortom, who appreciated the efforts, described the boy as a miracle child and granted scholarship to him from nursery to university level.
There is nothing you can give a child more than education with immediate effect.
The governor, with his predecessor, the senator representing Benue Northeast, Gabriel Suswam, condemned hostility and criminality being perpetrated in the areas and vowed to resort to the stick approach to tame the tide.
Your Excellency, let me say that I will continue to stand with you in fighting this act of criminalities from people who don't mean well for even their community and for the state.
Igede youths had lamented the abduction of the boy during their call for peace after the attack on Ochoro. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Towards ensuring community participation in finding lasting solutions to the security challenges in the country, the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution has undertaken a week-long activities on conflict mitigation and awareness in Katsina State. The Institute engaged no fewer than 600 persons in Safana, Batsari and Damusa local government areas on the need for concerted efforts to tackle banditry and other forms of insecurity in Katsina. Shehu Adamu reports.
Safana, Batsari and Damusa local government areas are among the 8 frontline councils affected by banditry and other nefarious crimes in Katsina State. In a message to the unveiling of the awareness campaign, Director General of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Dr. Bakut, noted that the engagement of the stakeholders to mitigate conflicts will bring criminality to the barest minimum.
We have seen and followed up the problem in Katsina State, and we are here to encourage those who have been working to ensure that these criminalities are brought to the barest minimum.
Considering how the bandits succeeded in, making my people poor by taking all their cattle, by stopping them from farming, I feel the only immediate intervention I can do is to help them directly with cash support.
During the week-long engagement, the Institute supervised the distribution of 50,000 naira each to the stakeholders in order to cushion their sufferings created by activities of bandits and kidnappers.
We are grateful for the assistance as activities of banditry and kidnappers have affected our economic fortunes.
District Head of Safana, Sada Rufai, commended the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution for choosing his domain to conduct the awareness. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Productivity and promotion of technical education in the engineering profession through expertise for national development amidst the security challenges is the main thrust of the 29th Engineering Assembly organized by the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN. From time to time, the Council issues practicing licenses to sustain competence in the profession. Now it is infusing the study of modern technologies into its curriculum in line with global trends.
National Board for Technical Education, the National Business and Technical Examination Board, NAPTEP, and the COPTEC, with the full involvement of NATE, NICET, and NIEG, to correct the positioning of the inverted pyramid amongst the engineering family in terms of knowledge, skills, competence, proficiency, and promoting strategic alliance and spirit of teamwork.
Discipline, patience, patriotism.
This is very important. Our profession is very key to the development of any nation. The young ones we are bringing up today are the people that will design our roads tomorrow. They are the people that will build our hospitals and so on and so forth. And so if the nation Nigeria wants our evening to be very peaceful and glorious, we have to take a quick evaluation of what we have to do to reinvent the practical impartition of knowledge, practical knowledge in our young engineers.
Current membership cuts across the different sectors of engineering practice. Ecowas Parliament is organizing a delocalized meeting to consider legislative dimensions to energy efficiency in the context of persistent COVID-19 concerns. The meeting is underway in Abuja, Côte d'Ivoire, with emphasis on the active involvement of private sector and citizen participation in the use of innovation to achieve energy efficiency in West Africa. Ecowas Parliament Joint Committee on Energy and Mines, Industry and Private Sector, Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, as well as Infrastructure, are leading delegates to the meeting. For more reports, let's join Ogochukwuka in our Benin studio. Ogochukwuka.
Elizabeth, good evening and welcome. The President, Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, wants Nigerians to be focused in whatever they do, especially in building a great country. He made a call at an occasion to mark his 10th year installation as Archbishop of Metropolitan See of Benin. Good Luck NINE reports that former President Olusegun Obasanjo was in attendance.
It was a triple celebration service. First, with Archbishop Akubeze's 10th year anniversary of installation and his message of hope for Nigerians.
The daily challenges of life, the yoke becomes easier when we walk with Christ. The yoke becomes easier when we trust in Christ. Never allow any situation to make you depressed. God, who is on the throne, will never allow us to face a problem that is beyond our capacity to handle.
The service also witnessed the investiture of 20 Papa Knights and Dame of St. Gregory and Sylvester, who were handed medals and mantles from Pope Francis.
Position 1, 2. God now is saying, focus your service on me.
I only humbly ask the Almighty Father to give me the desired resources and the enablement for me to be able to do more.
I wish them well. To be selected out of millions, they should thank their God.
Good luck, NINE, NTA News.
And similarly, the Bishop of Ekiti Catholic Diocese, Most Reverend Felix Ajakai, is advocating change in attitude and system reorientation by Nigerians to make the nation a peaceful abode for all. He expressed this view at a forum on human rights put together by the Justice, Development and Peace Initiative. The gathering focused on strengthening human rights awareness and increase in alternative dispute resolution. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports from
Bishop Ajakai noted that the negative attitudes and mindsets of citizens towards issues is a major problem hindering the growth of the country. He emphasized the need for people to love their fellows, do things in a better way and demand accountability from their leaders to engender peaceful society, which will in turn bring about development. The Catholic bishop said to resharpen the society and make it free of abnormalities, there must be a revolution of minds to positivity to change the nation for better.
If you don't encourage yourself, you cannot encourage other people. And implement whatever we can implement as a person and as a group. Action is needed in our country, not just blame game.
Speakers at the forum emphasized the need for fundamental human rights to be respected and allow the rule of law to be entrenched, expressing the belief that it is by so doing that the society will regain its pride of place as a peaceful environment to have a society free of crimes and criminalities. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshakin, NTA News.
And a break is next, and thereafter, Mohammed will come up with more stories from our Maiduguri Network Center.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, exclusively with Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State.
Since assuming office, our rescue administration has pursued the path of peace and reconciliation and restored confidence among people of different ethnic, religious, and political persuasions. Peace is back on the plateau. We are building world-class infrastructure in roads and opening up opportunities for innovation.
The edition is a compendium of mind-blowing stories for your reading pleasure, ranging from entertainment, economy, sports, media, politics, family, and lots more. Pick up a copy and keep abreast with issues and trending features within our space. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sports like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
The Blues will look to start the new season with a victory against former rival Patrick Vieira as he leads his London side, Crystal Palace, to Stamford Bridge. This Saturday, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Welcome, esteemed viewers, to Nationwide from Maiduguri. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya has flagged off welfare flight for the troops of Operation Hadinkai to ease their movement to and from Maiduguri. The Chief of Army Staff used the occasion to call on Boko Haram fighters to surrender and have a new lease of life. Pauline Kujevana reports.
Traveling by road to and from Maiduguri by the troops of Operation Hadinkai has been problematic due to distance and unforeseen circumstances. This is why the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, decided to arrange this flight as part of his welfare package to convey personnel of various security formations under Operation Hadinkai who are on pass to central points of Abuja and Lagos. According to the Chief of Army Staff, the exercise was possible due to the existing synergy with other security agencies in the counter-insurgency operations and urged them to utilize the opportunity for hitch-free movement.
Whether they're here in the northeast or in the northwest or north central, the earlier they told the line of peace, the better. Otherwise, you cannot escape the wrath of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in synergy with other security agencies and services and stakeholders.
Calls on all formations of the Nigerian Army to take advantage of these welfare flights also for their operational, logistics, and administrative support efforts to the theater of operations.
The first flight, carrying 109 passengers to Abuja and Lagos, will continue fortnightly, boarding the security personnel and their families. in Maiduguri. Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Meanwhile, more Boko Haram insurgents and Islamic State of West African Province ISWAP terrorists are surrendering as troops of Operation Hardin Kai conducting counterterrorism and counterinsurgency operations in northeast Nigeria escalate ground and air offensive operations against the terrorists. Awakar Mohamed Musa reports that sustained air and artillery bombardments on the enclaves of the terrorists in Sambisa Forest and its environs have continued to yield positive results as more terrorists and their families laid down their arms, abandoning the groups and their illicit cause.
Sustained air and artillery bombardments on the enclaves of the terrorists in Sambisa Forest and its environs have continued to yield positive results as terrorists and their families laid down their arms, abandoning the groups and their illicit cause. According to the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, the terrorist groups have suffered enormous setback recently and recorded several casualties as a result of intense offensive by gallant troops of Operation Hardin Kai. Brigadier General Nwachukwu further disclosed that 18 the terrorist groups had on Wednesday, 4th August 2021, surrendered to troops with their arms and ammunition alongside their families, including 18 female adults and 19 children from Chingori and other surrounding villages around the Sambisa Forest. Similarly, a Boko Haram fighter from Abuja Asmau village in Sambisa Forest also surrendered to troops with AK-47 rifle, 2 magazines, 1 magazine holder, 1 round of 7.62 mm special, and 500,000 naira. Nigeria's Chief of Air Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has lauded troops for their effort and charged them to sustain the winning momentum until the terrorists are completely decimated. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Maiduguri. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. A new book that will guide citizens to achieve physical, mental and emotional well-being in order to contribute meaningfully to socio-economic development of the nation has been unveiled by the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Your microbiome bacteria is a wonder of nature. Activate and optimize. Eating for healthy longevity is the title of the book. But tips here on care for human health qualifies the event for an expose on how to eat right and live right.
To live well means eating natural whole food with fiber and fermented foods. Pointedly, it shows us how doing so will help us to prevent unhealthy conditions and diseases.
A review done on the 682-page book with 27 chapters provided pragmatic steps for building a sound mind in a healthy body. This focused on intake of natural foods, regular bodily exercise, as well as personal hygiene.
This book is an important book, and in fact, it's an amazing book. I went through it, and I'm telling you, it's filled with a lot of important information for those who know that health is the real wealth.
Assessment of the book as containing the requisites for building a healthy society and strong economy prompted the call for the book to be used as a research and reference material.
We should all work in our various ways to bring this book to our dear state governors, to our respected ministers, to the educational institutions in this nation, for inclusion in the school curriculum.
For the author, a particular ill health he experienced outside the shores of the country as a diplomat led him into research and increased the desire to direct more attention to consumption of natural foods.
If you have such a book and you are targeting Nigerians to buy into it, one group that you must make sure to get in order that they can develop capacity to live stronger, live healthier, happens to be the youth. If you can, cut off 100% eating simple sugar. All those things destroy human health.
To drive home the message to the targeted audience, a National Youth Nature Health Food Program was also inaugurated at the event. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Into reproductive health, a framework strategy for the development of a VVF roadmap to curb occurrences, rehabilitate and reintegrate survivors is one of the major projects on the table of the Ministry of Women Affairs. Momso Damien Data reports that a one-day key players meeting held in Abuja was to set agenda.
All the way from Kogi State, Jamila Suleiman, a wife and mother of two, has traveled down to Abuja for this meeting. Hastari is married at 22 and suffered VVF for 2 years, 6 months.
I was in labor for a day. The doctor advised that I should go for CS. I wanted natural childbirth, so I declined. And in the end, when the baby came out, she gave me this tear. My story started with fistula. You don't even feel you want to urinate. It just comes. And when one is in a public place and you just feel yourself wet, it's really embarrassing.
So, what is this obstetric fistula?
Obstetric fistula simply means an abnormal hole between bladder and vagina of a woman, which was gotten as a result of childbirth injury. Nigeria is one of the countries that has high maternal mortality rates, and maternal mortality rates and obstetric fistula go together.
The Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is happy to articulate a structured environment to guide the implementation of VVF programs in Nigeria. We are glad that the meeting will provide the necessary platform to develop a roadmap for the implementation of obstetric fistula in Nigeria for the next 4 years.
The meeting is to reinvigorate efforts at cutting down or totally eliminating the 12,000 new cases of VVF recorded annually in Nigeria. Momso Damien Nati, NTA News.
To climate talks, unless carbon and other greenhouse gases emissions are reduced urgently, the world would plunge into catastrophic devastation in the coming years. United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report indicates that the world must act now to avert a climate catastrophe. Onenge Fineface reports.
Human influence, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report says, has warmed the climate at an unprecedented rate in the last 2,000 years. Atmospheric concentration of carbon, methane and nitrous oxide are at an all-time high. The consequence is changing and worsening climate and weather conditions.
The report provides our best estimates, for instance, for the climate response. It also provides a complete description, including what is extremely important for risk management.
Reducing greenhouse gases will not only slow climate change, but will improve air quality. It's all connected. It's time to get serious because every ton of CO2 emission adds to global warming.
According to this report, we are still having a chance to stop the negative climate trend during the mid of this century by especially limiting the use of fossil fuels and by stopping deforestation.
The IPCC report recommends that strong, rapid and sustained reduction in greenhouse gases emissions by 2050, in line with the Paris Agreement, is critical to limit the downward plunge into climate catastrophe. Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
And sports update is next with Samuel Johnson.
Mixed reactions continue to trail Nigeria's performances at the just concluded 2020 Olympic Games, with emphasis on development programs ahead of future national and international events.
Our problem is not with the athletes. Our problem is not with facilities. Our problem is not even with sponsors, but administrators.
I believe they're going to give a report to the federal government after all this is, but can always go back to the drawing board that we've always been going back to all the years.
Suggest as well that a proper structure needs to put in place to ensure that professionals who knows how to manage these athletes, who knows the sport in and out, are there to drive the process.
Our preparation should start now. It's not until 2 years
or a year to the next Olympic.
In another development, former Super Eagles coach Samson Siasia's wait over his 5-year ban from football continues as a United States court has issued a 21-day to FIFA to respond to Siasia's suit challenging his coaching license ban and indictment for bribery. From the grassroots, University of Ilorin will on Wednesday take on Kogi State University in a second leg round of 16 match of the Higher Institution Football League in Ilorin. The winner of the match will take on Federal University of Technology, Minna, in the quarter-final match. From the foreign scene, last season's Champions League winners Chelsea will on Wednesday attempt to start the regular season with another trophy at hand when the team confront UEFA Europa League winners Villarreal in the 2021 Super Cup, slated for Windsor Park in Ireland. This is Chelsea's 5th Super Cup appearance, while it is the first time for Villarreal as both teams clash for the first time in a competitive European football match. With sports update, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
And sports update ends nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to connect with us at the NTA. Stand against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori.
Since coming into office in 2015, the Buhari administration has recorded unprecedented achievements in all sectors, especially in the provision of infrastructure, which is the key to economic growth. Never in the history of this country has any administration done so much with so little. I recall that when this administration came into office, the price of crude oil, which provides for 80% of Nigeria's budgetary revenues and 95% of foreign exchange earning, dropped drastically, thus reducing the amount of resources available to the federal government. In spite of this, the administration has continued apace with massive infrastructure development.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
COVID-19, that is the black swan of the century, has actually hit the whole world very hard, even the strongest of economies, and Nigeria was not spared. But due to the proactive stance and steps that the President has taken, we've been able to come out quickly. The President has consistently said we must invest in infrastructure, even as we're investing in human capital, that we must invest in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, that is what will bring about a sustainable economic growth. So the President has given us our directive. He has said you must make sure you pay salaries and pay pensions, but you also make sure that the critical projects of roads, railway, airports, bridges, major infrastructure that are meant to drive the growth of the economy, that we consistently invest in them, even if we have to continue to borrow to do so.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The Ministry of Works and Housing has the responsibility to help improve the quality and the quantity of the road infrastructure assets, which are the roads and the bridges and the highways. At the moment, we have over 13,000 kilometers of road network under repair, reconstruction, or rehabilitation out of the existing 35,000 kilometers of federal road network. These 13,000 kilometers are comprised in about 850 different contracts which the ministry superintends across Nigeria. We are fulfilling the mandate of our ministry to expand the connectivity of Nigeria's states and by extension the towns and villages
through road transport.
The center is purposely established in order to provide these services that are examinations, medical examinations, and investigations that were not provided for in Kano as well as the entire Northwest region. It's equipped with modern technological equipment in terms of radiological services. We have MRI 1.5 Tesla. We have digital X-ray as well as 4D ultrasound equipment. The importance of the center cannot be overemphasized. Just within 1 year, the center attended to thousands and numerous patients as well as medical examinations. NKDC is established in order also to provide these healthcare facilities at a discounted price.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello and welcome to revision classes on television. Today, we will be having a session in mathematics. Our guide is Samuel Nnebife, and our focus today is change of subject of the formula.
We'll take questions on your past questions. Example 1. That is question 1. Make Q the subject of the relation in P plus 3Q all divided by Q minus 3P equals to 1 over Y, comma, where P is equals to minus 1, Y is equals to minus 2. The question is find Q. Solution. P plus 3Q all divided by Q minus 3P equals to 1 over Y. We cross multiply. That is cross multiply. Use 1 to bracket Q minus 3P equals to use Y bracket P plus 3Q. Now we open the bracket. 1 times Q is Q. 1 times minus 3P is minus 3P equals to y times p is yp plus y times 3q is 3yq. Then we correct like terms because we are making use of, we want to make q a subject of the formula. So we look at q here. Q, this is 3 minus 3q, 3yq crossing the sign of equation becomes minus 3q minus 3yq equals to pq minus 3p cross here becomes plus 3p. Now I have q here and I have another q here, so I collect the common factor. The common factor is q is here, q is here, take it out. Remaining q cancel q is 1 minus q cancel q here, remaining 3y equals to. Now we have yp plus 3p. We'll divide both sides by the coefficient of q. That is 1 minus 3y divided by the same 1 minus 3y. Now you cancel this. Now q is equals to, I have p here and there's another p here. Take the p out. Remaining y plus 3 all over 1 minus 3y. But there's a condition that said p is equals to minus 1 and q and y equals to minus 2. So at p equals to minus 1 and y equals to minus 2, we substitute these values inside the value of q. Since we have q equals to p bracket y plus 3 all over 1 minus 3y. Now, q is what we are looking for. Equals to p is what? P is minus 1. Then y is minus 2 plus 3 all over 1 minus 3 bracket. And y is minus 2. Then we have minus 1. Minus 2 plus 3 is 1. Meaning that you are owing me 2 naira and what we have is 3 naira. So you have 1 all divided. So 1 minus 3 times minus 2 is plus, because minus minus is plus. Then 3 times 2, 6. So minus 1 times 1 is minus 1 over. Then 1 plus 6 is 7. Question 2. If V is equals to pi h bracket 3 capital R square plus h square all divided by 6, make R in terms of pi, h, and v. Solution. We bring the question down. V equals to pi h bracket 3 capital R square plus h square divided by 6. Cross multiply, because this is over 1 to balance it. Cross multiply. We use V times 6. That is 6V equals to 1 multiplied by pi r, pi h bracket 3 capital R square plus h square. Now 6v equals to, I use pi h to open the bracket. Pi h times 3 r square. We have 3 h pi r square plus, use pi h to multiply h square. We have pi, then there is h times h square. We have h raised to power 3. Now we are asked to make r to stand alone in terms of these 3 variables. We have the capital R, 3h pi h square equals to 6v minus pi h raised to power 3. Now we are making use of the capital R to stand alone. So we divide by the coefficient of that p, the coefficient of the capital R square. Then we divide by this. Divide by 3 pi, 3h pi. So this will cancel. Then we leave r square equals to 6v minus pi h raised to power 3, all divided by 3h pi. But we are making use of ordinary r, not r square. So you divide both sides by the square. So r is square, or you find the square root of the both sides. That is to say that we have the square root of r square equals to 6v minus pi h3 or h pi. So this square will cancel this square. So v, that is the r, but that's what we are looking for, is equals to the square root of 6v minus pi h raised to power 3 all over 3h pi. This is the final answer. Question 3. Make W the subject of the relation R minus W equals to W V square divided by GS, comma. Hence, find the value of W where capital R equals to 2, G equals to 10, S equals to 3 over 2, and V equals to 3. solution we take the question R minus W equals to WVC WV square divided by GS. So, over 1. Cross multiply. We use GS. Bracket R minus W equals to, we use 1 to multiply WV square. We open the bracket by GS times R. GSR. GS times W, we have minus GSW equals to 1 times WV square is WV square. And we are looking at, we are asked to make W the change of this subject formula. We have GSR equals to WV square minus cross the sign of equation becomes plus GSW. So I have my W here and here. So what I will do now is I will collect the common factor. So GRR is equals to W is here and also here. We'll take it out. Then the remaining is V square plus GS. To make W the change of subject formula, we divide by the coefficient. That is V square plus GS. V square plus GS. V square plus GS. We cancel so that W will stand alone. GS capital R divided by V square plus GS. This is W equals to GSR all divided by V square plus GS. But there is a condition given to you. So we substitute the values we have inside the equation. Let's bring down the equation we have. GS capital R divided by V square plus GS at R equals to 2, G equals to 10, S equals to 3 over 2, and V equals to 3. Now, we have to find W. G is what? From the data or parameters given to us. G is 10. Multiply. This is the sign of multiplication. There is no minus, there is no plus. So it's sign of multiplication. So S is given as 3 over 2 times R is 2. All divided. V is 3. That is 3. Because of the square, you square it. Plus G is 10 times S is 3 over 2. So, but there is no calculator, the calculator with us. So we do easy cancellation. These two will cancel these two. So in use of board mass, you can cancel here 1, cancel here 5. So what we have is 10 times 3. Then 3 squared is 9 plus 5 times 3 is 15. So 10 times 3 is 30. So 9 plus 15 is 24. So let's reduce 30 over 24 to lowest term. So let's use 2. 2 divided by 30 will give us 15 over 2 divided by 24. That is 24 divided by 2. 2 into this, 1. 2 divided by 4, 2. So that is 12. Now I want to use 3 to divide again. 3 into 15 is 5. 3 into 12 is 4. Now this is improper fraction. We convert it to mixed fraction. So 5 divided by 4 will give us one whole number, 1 over 4. This is the final answer. W equals to one whole number, 1 over 4. Question 4. Make F the subject of the relation (1 over U equals to 1 over V plus 1 over F, and find the value of F where V is equals to 10 and U equals to 5. One over U equals to 1 over V plus 1 over F. We have 2 ways of solving this particular question. If you like, you find the LCM of V and F, then later you cross multiply. But I want to multiply through by the LCM of denominator. So the LCM of denominator is UVF. So let's multiply all this equation by UVF. UVF bracket 1 over U equals to UVF bracket 1 over V plus UVF bracket 1 over F. Now, U will cancel U, V will cancel V, F cancel F. So what I have is VF equals to UF plus UV. We are making F the subject of the formula. So we have, let's collect like terms. Let all the F one side. VF minus UF equals to UV. Now, F is here. F is here. Let's take it out as a common factor. F bracket V minus U equals to UV. So I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of F, which is V minus U in both equations. Divide by V minus U, divide by V minus U. This will cancel this. Now F is equals to UV all divided by V minus U. This is, F is now a subject of formula for the variables. But there is a condition. At V equals to 10 and U equals to 5. So you put them inside the equation. So F is equals to UV over V minus U. Now the condition is V at V equals to 10, U equals to 5. So F is equals to U is equals to 5. The V equals to 10. All divided. V is 10 minus U is 5 equals to 5 times 10 is 50 all over 10 minus 5 is 5. Then 50 divided by 5. You can use 5 to cancel 5 1. 5 into 5 is 1. That is 10. So F is equals to 10. The final answer.
You can subscribe to NTA series on YouTube to watch or download past episodes of revision classes on television. That's the much we can take on the program today. Do join us next time for another educating session.
The Chief Resident Engineer and Project Supervisor of the second Niger Bridge project. The second Niger Bridge project is a project that has been conceived for a very long time, but it has finally come to life during this present administration. This project has a lot of socio-economic benefits, and it has impacted positively on the lives of the host communities, both in Anambra State and Delta State. The people are very happy. The host communities, they partnered with us because apart from the social benefits, indigenes are also employed on this project. We can see how their lives are being improved.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Arise, O Nigerians! Let's applaud the courage of Flight Lieutenant Abayomi Dairo, aka the Aggressor, for his skillful and dogged escape from the bloodthirsty bandits in the forest of Zamfara State. 3 hearty cheers also to all military and security personnel who are tirelessly protecting fellow Nigerians from insurgency and banditry while maintaining peace and order. Nigerians are proud of Abayomi Dairo and all our gallant men and women in uniform for sacrificing so much to keep us safe. We admire your courage and we say thank you. God bless the armed forces. God bless Nigeria. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This present government has done a lot on the train modernization. They came in and completed the Abuja Kaduna, and we have 9 stations there, 5 stopping stations and 4 crossing stations, making 9. And when we started in 2016, we started with 2 trips, then we later moved on to 8 trips. And we are talking about moving to 14 trips a day, and we have been able to send 10 DMUs, 10 coaches, and 2 locomotives new. We have 12 stations on the Takbere line. It's about 312 kilometer length of track, and it's over 35 years old. And the government came and took it up, finished the track, built modern stationing, and the stations are finished. Working on the signaling. We all hope to start the commercial operation by the end of September.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Visual Impressions on NTA. I am Umar Mohammed. Now today on the program we'll be looking at art from a different perspective. The versatile nature of art has led some curious artists to exploring various places in respect to displaying their artworks. While they were at it on the streets of Abuja, Visual Impressions spoke to some of them who in return explained that they were on the streets because the only place they could afford to rent shops was demolished. Now, the thing is, why were they dislodged and deprived of their only means of sustenance? These were all the questions put together for the Director General of the National Council of Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Runshewe, to answer. And he did. He gave us details into all that transpired in the arts and craft market, which over the years turned out into a luxury lodge for criminals. Let's find out. Human relationship with nature is perhaps the first subject to appear in the history of art. Artists always find inspiration in their respective environment. We met Peter Abo, a street artist who is also known to be a rock artist. He resides in Asokoro, Abuja, Nigeria. And Sonam Yilkes, who also displays his works on the streets of Area 8, Abuja. They individually found a way to interweave their artistic expressions and their natural environment.
To me, it is in me because it's natural. That's what I see. Because I discover it is in me, I put more passion into it. Every time what I see, I try to depict it, try to put it in my mind. Even though I didn't sketch at that time, I'll go back and take my time to imagine it, try to put it in my sketch part.
I still believe that be touched by God. Already when you look at this environment, I'm on the roadside. It's just like somebody who made an exhibition publicly. It's just like a public exhibition, like every day. I'm always here. So all that once I consider it as an exhibition. But when you talk of solo exhibition where you invite dignitaries, companies here and there to a particular event, I have not really had that opportunity, of which I'm looking on to. One day, a destiny helper will find its way to my way, and I will be glad. And I believe so. It will happen one day.
Street art, the form of artwork that is displayed in public buildings, trains, and other publicly viewed surfaces, and it is said to be one of the most hybrid forms of artistic expressions in our modern world.
The appreciation of arts is coming gradually because people are now understanding that art is in us, is what we are. So, but before they think art is for the rich, but to me, art is everybody can afford it. That is why they find it difficult to appreciate it. Even though they like it, they won't try to come and price itself. It's very difficult.
Let's say the society is a little bit, not encouraging business these days. Everything seems stagnant. Business is not moving as usual, and you find yourself being, frustrated, thinking of something else to do. Most of the time I'm here, maybe some good time, nothing will happen. But that will not step me back because I know one of these days something better will cover up the notes you have not gotten anything. So there are some advantage and disadvantage. People will look at you, this one, what's he doing there? Is that what he want to do all the rest of his life? They look down on you as if you are just like nobody, just because of the environment. And when they see you outside well dressed, this man is made. But when they see you in a kind of road like that, they kind of make you to look down on yourself. But one good thing is that whether the rain, whether the sunshine, don't give up.
The issue of them being on the streets, first and foremost, like we want to discuss, like what exactly is involved in a painting, for instance, that is done with linseed oil, turpentine. Some people they use like paraffin and the rest there to do their work. The hazard on that one is that it is beaten by the sun, the weather, the wear and tear and everything. So, and you're going to take this back into the house again. So it's going to have some kind of reactionary effects inside the house there. It's not going to be so very wonderful where you have it again and people are going to breathe into this now. Now again, you're tearing the work down as in what the values of the hues will be when you take them out of that sun again. But this will be under the sun continuously. First to start with, besides the environmental, presence that it has that is not so very good, it is also not good for the work itself, for you to put it outside there. And eventually, what are we trying to say? We have these pieces of artwork and they are on the street. People are passing by and then they are saying this. Now it becomes like airport art. What it means is you go to school, you graduate, and then you should have been able to at least say whether 1, 2, 3, or 4 persons gather, get something like a mini gallery or so where to display art. But there are several galleries here in town where you can also go try attempts to have your display. But if you think like you're not a gallery kind of painter, artist, and you want to strictly stick to this devalues the work itself.
In Nigeria, licenses or permits are required to do businesses, as street artists without authorization could face fines or run the risk of being arrested by the Environmental Task Force if municipal ordinances prohibit their activities.
First time I started here, the task force that came to me, he was trying to let me know that this is not where I'm supposed to be here. I explained to him, this is the talent in me. I need to exhibit it, and I have no resources. I have no place to go and rent. Understand? And he came to understand with me based on my explanation. I said, we are artists. We are decorating the environment. Understand? We try to beautify the environment. So you understand with me on that point. Since then, I have no any issue with tax force.
When you talk about environmental in this Abuja as a whole, I use myself as an example where God has so much content and so well doing in my life. Because when I came to this Abuja, this is just a sport. God said, this is where I'm sending you to. This is a sport. You go there, showcase your talents, Did I know to you, since I'm been here, environmental has not disturbed me in any way. Why? Because I know when God approves, no man can disturb.
So packaging is so very important. Nigerians need to understand that we have a lot to offer, but the way we package these things do matter a lot. It's like you're having an exhibition by maybe Jabi Lake or so, and it's an all open thing. You will not compare it to having an exhibition at the Congress Hall at the Hilton, because these are two different parts to it. So value for the work itself. There should be some kind of, I'm not saying sanction indirectly, but I know that people are fighting over these hard times to like survive. But let's also do it with some kind of order, decorum. I mean, a lot of order to this, so you still maintain value for the work. So I will say that for that, it is not something that we would want to encourage. Secondly, I'm told that the environmental department goes over there and try to treat them like they are carrying scraps on the road. Of course, what the environmental department will want to do is to ensure all the time, at all times, that the streets are kept clear away from anything like hawking and the rest there. So when they now come and they say that most of the complaints that they hear is that they are exempting, trying to put an exempt on this kind of people and the rest there. If there can be a deal that will be struck with any of those places, if it's a garden, make sure that it's so decent enough, because art is a thing for, so very sophisticated that you can't find it out so easily out there. So if you treat it with less sophistication, they will also treat you like that. That's the way you see environmental coming over to do. But we can only appeal that the government understands from this part now and recreate another place again where they can be. That is where we come in.
I do what I have to do here, showcase my talents, given talents by God. Beside that, I'm not committing any nuisance. I'm making the place more habitable and a kind of a tourist center where people can come and take photographs and buy painting to decorate their homes. But the place has been given so much nice impressions naturally onto the environment of Abuja. So when you say environmental, perhaps those who are being disturbed, there are some of them who will want to habitate a place that already where clean up. They always want to go to where already be designed. They don't want to suffer. They want to go and clean up a place where nobody will just say, this and that. A place that is already clean up. And beside that, some kind of residence. So how would that be? So those are the kind of people I believe they are really disturbing somehow.
We come in by trying to say, okay, we have the art pavilion, for instance, where exhibitions can happen from time to time. And it is about the lowest in cost for anybody that actually wants to exhibit in Abuja. It's there, it's available. And again, we also have like at the cultural center here, like I said, where you can bring in your works and you can exhibit. And again, I can name so many galleries there, but what the artist needs to aspire to do is to give those works the kind of class that the galleries desire, so that you can up. It's not true that art is it's not a thing that you want to treat so people begin to think that the artist is suffering or is semi-suffering, whatever kind of suffering stage or level it is that you want to put to it. Art is not anywhere there. And you need a lot of sophistication to actually have that art. But the guy should not see the art roaming on the streets or rolling by. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to encourage that, actually.
Yeah, I think what we need more is that we need more awareness. We need to develop our youth. Understand? By the time we have many artisans, people understand that, yeah, this is a profession whereby people will go into it. Because most people will say, no, this is just a street art, and someone cannot do this work. But by the time you encourage people, and we the artists, by the time you encourage us by buying the products, our works, we get more money, and people will look at us and say, no, this guy is making it in that his profession.
As an artist, you can only take me maybe within some minutes or hours, a few days, to deliver a masterpiece. How? A concept might be in me, and I will continue working on that concept inside me for months, for some time. But the day of delivery, give me 2 to 3 hours. A masterpiece is done.
Yeah, the mediums I use here is paper, body filler, and top bond. So it's a paper work, but the finishing is acrylic. So what I try to depict here is the Hausa man, the Fulani man nature of life. In those days, that's what we're drawn to see them doing. When they go to the bush with their cow, they normally go with their small guitar, whereby they sit down and play some music and be riding their cow. That's why we know the Fulani nature in those days.
I have diverse styles of art. There are some I created by myself, which I don't want to be like any other artist. I want to have a unique style about my work. That when you see my painting somewhere, without my signature written on it, you must know that this is Mr. Peter O. Agboro's painting. So I have that kind of unique painting, which I'm still working on daily. But generally, there are some people who doesn't really want to know what it's all about. They just want to have a paint in their house. This painting looks beautiful. They don't care about styles. They don't care about techniques. They don't care about the medium. They just want to have a piece of art in their homes. So sometimes I style on that area by making some other kind of techniques.
I'm also aware that the Society of Nigerian Artists, the chairman and members have tried to, at all times, try to probe a little part of this. The reason being that they don't want to be having exhibitions and you're there, you're looking at the works and somebody is saying, no, this same thing I can get on the street there for 5 naira or 2 naira. So they want to fix that part of the issue. So they need to actually come mainstream. They need to also belong into the association. So Society of Nigerian Artists will be able to say to them that, look, these are the levels that we want to maintain.
I must sincerely commend NTA for seeing one of the very most important aspects of empowering the creative sector. I must say NTA is truly doing what we call investigative journalism, going to the root of matters. So I commend you for that wonderful job. You see, we must learn to put sentiment apart. We must see our country, Nigeria, as the most important project we must all defend at all times. The artists you spoke with, a lot of them are not being sincere. I'll give you the true picture of what happened. Nigeria happens to be about the only country in the history of West Africa that don't have a cultural market. We wanted to put a space for the creative sector. But at the end of the day, we have more tailors than even the artists there. That's number one. Number two, the image and integrity of this country must be defended at all times. A lot of foreigners use that place for buying a lot of things, for coming, realization, etc. There's no single toilet in that place. I'm sure we have the pictures, we have the video, the kind of facilities that were there before now. You can't even go in there. When I became the DG, I said, no, let us do
the right thing. Hoodlum using that place as a melting point for them. As at last year, you can't even drive your car in the evening around here. They pick phone, they rob people, they rape. We have nothing less than about 8 rape cases there last year. So the artists should know that this is a country that we must learn to do the right thing. We are going to renovate the place, get the place to a world-class standard. Then, the qualified ones among them, who is doing the legitimate business of the creative industry, will have a space. What happened before now, madam? They rent from government for 40,000 and they rent it out for 300,000. So even the good intention of government of helping the ordinary Nigerian person is being defeated. Everything I'm telling you now is before the police. We have all the documents, we send everything, they have it. At the time, we met over 20 stolen cars there. We met AK-47, drug, etc. We have this document which was submitted to the Nigerian police. And it was the Nigerian police that raided the place and found all of this. The day the police raided the place, they met over 234 people sleeping in that place, which is against the master plan of Abuja. Now, for you to hear this from me, 4 distinguished personalities, the Minister of FCT, the Minister of Information and Culture, the IG of Police, the Committee of Culture and Tourism in the National Assembly came out and said no. In fact, I must especially commend the FCT minister who said you cannot take over government land and give to an individual. They were claiming ownership. So we now say, okay, let's get everybody out of the place, clean up the place, and have a new cultural market that will befit the status of Nigeria. That is it. They want to remain the way they were doing there, and we cannot continue having that kind of thing. So, for me, they've gone to court. They've taken me to ICBC everywhere, and they found out that, look, you don't have a case. Number one, you can only have a case if you are the rightful owner of the property. That means you must have the C of O, which is the only legal document to prove ownership. NCAC has that. They don't have that. So why are you going to report about getting government property being repaired? It got to a state that the chairman House Committee, National Assembly, Honorable Iyama Obedi, had to ask this question. Is this land owned by federal government or owned by an individual? I explained to him, it's owned by federal government. He says, why all this noise? I said, that's the normal strategy people use to take over government property. It's normal. I mean, it has happened before. But this will not happen under my leadership. And I also assure you, in the next couple of months, God's willing, we are going to open up that market with the right people who will use it. Normally, a festival is supposed to be a local content to help the ordinary and local people in that state. The foreigners would like to come and see local content of festival, right? So you need to get, for instance, all the local government councils to come a kind of competition. When the winners emerge, they now form the state festival. That's what they will sell out for other public to come and enjoy. I know Plateau State used to have the Jarawa dancers, which was fantastic. I mean, then the Birom war stuff. If you see it, you'll love it. You'll love it. It was rich and beautiful. They were the balance of the bunker doing nothing. So every state has something. This country is blessed. Every state has a lot to offer. It's the packaging. which I'm trying to, through NAPES, to discuss with most states on how to package their events. There's the Ijile Festival of Masquerade in Anambra. Then the Ofia War Dance in Imo. The boat regatta in Delta. I mean, what happened is, some of them are not properly being given the right platform to market them. You see, the beauty of population is to have different content. Nigeria is supposed to have maybe every month of the year one festival or one entertainment like Lagos is doing now. They have it in different states. River State have more than 5 festivals in a year. So many children are now getting more interest in the arts and craft sector. So for us as an agency, we have a very good platform of helping our youth to connect and to network with the artistic world, knowing that this can give them can earn them a living as a person. So it has been working out. Really, we are using this platform to project peaceful coexistence among Nigerians through culture, which I believe at the end of the day, people will come to appreciate more. There's nowhere in the world that has 100% security network. Every part of the world has its own challenges. And of course, you cannot become a champion if you have not gone through challenges. So Nigeria cannot be different. What we are going through now are challenges, and by the grace of God, inshallah, we'll overcome them, and the best is yet to come for our great country.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa.
Hello Abuja.
This is Jesse Josh.
You're watching.
Okay, so you're watching. And you're watching.
You're watching Visual Impressions.
Visual Impressions.
Visual Impressions.
Visual Impression on NTA.
NTA. On NTA. Don't touch the dial.
My name is Jonas Schwarz-Laustein. I'm the co-owner of Nordic Hotels in Nigeria. I would like to endorse Visual Impressions. I think you should keep watching it. It's a fantastic program. Cheers to that.
Before this, there were numerous misconceptions and speculations going round as to what actually happened to our dear market here in Abuja. I guess all that has now come to pass because we look forward to a new and improved arts and craft market. Thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you again next week on Visual Impressions. I am Umar Muhammad and I'm going to say bye for now. Final take, inshallah. Final take. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Visual Misconceptions and Speculations going round as to what actually happened. I made a mistake.
We started with a very aggressive response from the very beginning. If you remember the very first case in Nigeria, very well contained, very few infections arose from that. We started airport screenings and temperature checks way before anyone really understood what was going on. On the front lines of the response, the team here at the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, supported all the 36 states. At some point, we had teams in 32 of our 36 states concurrently, leading the response, the emergency operations centers, making sure we're getting the surveillance data, building up our information resources on our website. Our website became one of the most visited websites on the continent, as many other African countries were looking to the leadership Nigerians provided. At our Incident Coordination Center, people were working literally 14, 15 hours every single day.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This is the network service of the NTA.
There is no doubt that agriculture is beginning to take its rightful place in the scheme of things in our nation, Nigeria. In a bid to advance towards achieving food security and employment, the federal government of Nigeria has pledged her support to boost cassava production in Rivers State, having seen the huge agricultural potential exhibited by farmers in the state.
Right now, we count ourselves lucky because His Excellency Chief Ezebun Weke has shown consistent passion towards agriculture. In fact, in line with this, a processing unit is built at our farm. And when that processing unit was commissioned, the Minister of Agriculture, Sabo Nanono, came here in person to declare that, to commission that plant. And when you are talking of that plant, you are talking about processing cassava into useful products, especially quality flour and starch. And not just that, to empower our farmers, because they now have off-takers, people that will buy. The plant is there, that at every point of production, you can take your produce right to the plant, which the plant is ready to accept. So it means that this is an encouragement for farmers. And not just to do that. Recently, we embarked on distribution of stems because the minister promised His Excellency that he was going to bring in planting materials, the stems, the cuttings, and they have arrived. As I'm telling you, we have distributed to all the local government areas in the state. 9,000 bundles have arrived. We are expecting another 1,000 bundles.
Cassava stem that was given to us by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture through to the state government. So in partnership with the Ministry of Agri, we are also part of the committee who were asked to distribute accordingly. So as you can see, this cassava stem was distributed to all the LGA in the 22 local government and to individual farmers who are real practical farmers in the states. So this one now you're saying is for our farm, Rivers State chapter. You can see there is big improvement in cassava industry now. Cassava now turned to be an outcake.
Cassava is a major calorie source, especially for low-income earners. It is a staple food for many in Nigeria. Cassava is grown in almost every region in the country, with the south being the main producing area.
Of course, cassava is barely produced everywhere in Nigeria, in the south, southeast, and the middle belt. During Rivers State, we have cassava. We also have major areas of cassava production. In Rivers State, I can see in NTA local government area, Ikwere local government area, Ahora, most of the upland areas produce huge amounts of cassava. Of course, we know that Nigeria is the leading producer of cassava in the whole world. And one major thing that happened during the agricultural transformation agenda was the policy on use of 10% of cassava flour as part of baking product for bread, and which was compulsory for all bread bakers to include 10% of whatever they want to use for bread production.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
It is estimated in Nigeria that approximately 80% of cassava production is used for human consumption, mainly the tuber being dried, soaked or grinded as gari, eba, fufu, flour, tapioca, abacha, popularly known as African salad. All these serve as food.
In terms of consumption, not just the people that you see at the rural areas, but also those at the urban. I think gari is now even on the demand for gari now is high. The price is rising. Why is this so? Increased consumption, also increased demand for other uses.
In River State, Nigeria, cassava is grown by subsistence farmers who intercrop cassava with corn, and because the soil is fertile and arable, it is available all round the year. The agricultural exploits, especially cassava production, as a lucrative venture and a major crop commodity, has compelled the government to support the farmers with new technologies to increase productivity and generate revenue.
Last year, there had been a series of surveys from the Federal Minister of Agriculture in Rivers State, where farmers were enumerated, captured, and details about them submitted. In fact, in this line, they are supposed to get inputs, grants, or subsidy. Of course, it's a process. You know, it's coming from one stage to the other. And we are still expecting that in no distant time, because I've just received some details of those that have banks and those that don't have banks. And the Federal Ministry is promising that they will reach out to them as a kind of intervention program, because you know the COVID-19 had devastating effects on the farmers. But again, when we talk about cassava, we also look at specific variety that can help us get these gains. And that is why recently, from the Research Institute, we've been able to bring a particular variety, the one we call 4-19, that is good. It has short duration in terms of maturity. Apart from that, the tuber is useful in various aspects. Short duration in terms of maturity, between 6 months to about 10 months, and thereabout you can harvest your tubers.
We have a lot of cassava varieties, just you have said, and that was why the IITA Ibadan and the National Road Research Institute were mandated. They have a cassava mandate program to generate cassava varieties that could adapt to our soil and climate and yet give high yield. And that was done and they were able to develop and improve on a lot of them. We have the 3572, TMS 3572. It has a little bit long duration of maturity at 12 months. But at the end of 12 months, you get a maximum yield. In fact, you can obtain more than 4 tons per hectare and improve TMS 3572. What we cultivate here is TME 419. It's also a new improved variety that can give maximum yield within 9 months. So the farmers that want to cultivate short-term cassava will embark on TME 419, and it yields very, very well. There's a cassava cutting now that we know very well that is enriched with vitamin A. Vitamin A. If you are going into production of garri, it will save you the cost of oil in case you want to produce garri that is yellowish in color. So the cassava cutting itself has those qualities. So it doesn't need you add in oil. By the time you fry it and package it for sales, those people that need cassava that is, curry that is yellowish will appreciate it. And that one has vitamin A. It's very enriched with vitamin A. We grow cassava by cuttings. Though the ITA has generated a cultivar that could be cultivated by seed, then most of the cassava cuttings are now, we cultivate them by the cuttings. And that cuttings is just cut about 25 cm and you plant it slanting. Before you plant, some farmers need to look at the notes. If you plant it upside down, you will not. So the notes should face the atmosphere, should face up. When you plant it slanting, most of the time it's planted 1 meter apart because it has a high degree of canopy coverage. Within a short period, we have discovered that within about 90 days to 120 days, cassava would have almost acquired 80-something% of the canopy coverage. By then, it reduces the growth of weed. So that canopy coverage is smoothing weed. So if we plant it at the closer spacings, it will now be competing with sunlight. By competing with the sunlight, the cassava will only be getting taller and taller and taller, but at the expense of initiating of the tubers. And so that is it. We planted 1 meter apart by 1 meter. The ridge spacing is 1 meter. The row spacing is also 1 meter. So we call it 1 meter within row and 1 meter between rows. So you can see the way we plant it. We plant it at the angle of 45 degrees. 45 degrees is not difficult for a local farmer to know. A local farmer, they are also very intelligent. And most of the graduates now are going into agriculture. So when we say 45 degrees, we not look as if it's something difficult. You know that when something is standing straight and bent about half of what the person stands, that should be 45 degrees. So the planted slanting. There are some cultures that plant only the tip. The seed does well. They will not remove the leaves. The leaf will fall off on its own. Whatever, but any parts of the cassava stem can sprout. Any part of it, apart from the leaf, cannot sprout or the stalk. But the stem, even if I cut it here and put it in the soil. So to plant this slanting is better because the roots begin to sprout in different directions and initiate the yield. But some local farmers would put it flat. why some of them put it flat? If you are farming in a slopey area, a hill, it's advisable to keep it flat. And then you move the sand to the other side. So when rain is falling, rain is coming down the slope, you bring the soil to cover the cassava cuttings naturally. If you cover it, when the rain comes, it will either expose it. So that's why you see they will dip the soil and drop it.
Yeah.
That is the hill. So when rain is falling, then we'll carry the soil and cover it by itself. Well, that method is not very effective in yield and harvesting. Because in harvesting cassava, the cassava is supposed to initiate the roots vertically. So when you are going to harvest it, the one you keep flat, you lost so many of the tubers. Either some of them will be cutting. So when cassava tubers have wounds, it doesn't last long in the shade. A little while it will rotting. So the slanting one is that it will grow along that way, and you can just hold it, or an harvester can clip it and then bring it out. The one that is kept flat, it will be difficult for the harvester to bring it up. The branching also is difficult for the one that is placed flat. For the one that is planted an ankle, it will begin to branch immediately. And the more it branches, the more it captures the sunlight.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas exports account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
With the wheat grass, cassava stem we dey buy. So we need help. Who can help us so that this farm will go help us to produce more than this one.
It's my 20 years in buying this cassava. Before, this cassava is always due to help us. We use it to do loi. We used to do gari and train our children for school, pay school fees and all the rest. But now it is too costly.
If government can come and help so that we will export our cassava and export our cassava, that we are very, very happy.
If not in the Nigerian culture, whereby one is empowered to do this, the person that had the fund to do something else, I would say that it's good, it's encouraging to empower the farmers. But why don't we look at how other countries are doing? Other countries doesn't say, come and collect 10 million naira. They know what to do. If you know that to weed a farm, now I think our work is about 2,000-3,000. The farmers cannot get food to afford that. So what does other countries do? Wait for weed control, they come. Government come and spray your farm. Control weed. When it's time for planting, government provide seed. Not for you to be looking for seeds by all means. They know that you are there. You rest on them. They call you.
Inability of farmer accessing fertilizer to support the yield, the cassava yield. And apart from that, the process of transforming cassava product, that's the tuber, to other product, is very, very tedious. And that's why farmers on their own cannot do much because the technology is not there.
The new role of cassava as an alternative source of energy has led to competition in the use of cassava for food, feed and fuel. It is a multi-purpose crop. The leaves can also be cooked as vegetable.
When you look at cassava, it is not just for food. It is used even for the production of gas, ethanol. You can use cassava for production of bread production. In fact, about 40% of 45% of cassava flour is now incorporated in bread, which reduces the demand for wheat for bread production.
Cassava is an international product that could be used for several things. And it's sad to know that Nigeria even imports close to $6 million worth of derivative of cassava. Meaning that there are things, other products they get that are derived from cassava that we don't even have, even though it's our major product, because we don't have the technology to process them. So it's a welcome development for industry to come, for private government partnership to come and bring in technology that can produce, that can help to transform cassava from one product to the other. We know that the major product in cassava is the tuber. And apart from, every part of the cassava is very useful. In some countries, the leaves are for vegetables. Some use it for cooking. Now, cassava, I also have some researchers who have worked on cassava to develop biodegradable materials as polythene instead of chemical substance. So that when you use the starch from the cassava product, you can use it to produce polythene bag. Once it is used, it's very, very easy to decompose and add to other materials. Then the cassava flour, cassava pellet, so many things. You can use it to have your cake, a lot of things. In fact, the peels from the cassava tuber, like we have a factory in Ibadan that transforms this feed to very high quality animal feed products. And these are the fields that if you go to our local places, they are being wasted.
In the wake of increased awareness of climate variability and climate change, which over time has become a major challenge in agriculture, certain technologies came up, arising from the new policy on smart agriculture to cope with the exigencies of the risk of climate change. And this is what the government of Rivers State is doing.
Such institute is not relenting. Of course, we have noticed that there have been climate changes. In fact, certain times you look at even when the rain is falling, you see that there's a bit of it, all that. But with cassava, except when there is hazardous temperature, high temperature, when the sun is shining too much, it may affect it, but not to the extent that it cannot withstand it. And that is why we say you can plant almost all through the season.
Rivers State government, beyond supporting the farmers with new technologies and improved variety of cassava cuttings, chemicals for treatment of seed and crop protection. In addition, has established a cassava processing company where cassava flour is being produced, with the intention of creating over 3,000 jobs along the cassava value chain, together with the agricultural skill acquisition centers.
If government gives loan to individual farmers, if we can produce in a larger quantity for nearly all the people around us can buy, we can now mass produce where we will send some quantity to the Gari processing industry or whichever factory that government has put in place for us to maximize profits.
It seems and the government central bank has called this one is practical. You can even see the demonstration from at the back of the building. So I'm happy, and that is what it's supposed to be. Government, when we identify and verify those genuinely and will be registered as cassava producers too in this country, government will give them seed money to continue farming for cassava so that there is no problem of cassava supply in the factory.
With all this on ground, it is believed that the economy of the state and the standard of living among the citizens will improve if judiciously used.
Finally, the hero of Nigeria's democracy has arrived. He shall usher us into a new phase of development, peace, and prosperity. He is the father of the new Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Welcome to another season of giving Nigerians hope yet again. We are sure of a great future for both ourselves and generations yet unborn. We look forward to your leading us as a nation into our manifest destiny. Though the challenges against us as a people are many, we know that your leadership shall set us on the right path to our greatness. A new dawn beckons on us all, and having you as our president is a precursor to this. Thank you for believing in Nigeria. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
COVID-19, that is the black swan of the century, has actually hit the whole world very hard, even the strongest of economies, and Nigeria was not spared. But due to the proactive stance and steps that the president has taken, we've been able to come out quickly. The president has consistently said we must invest in infrastructure. Even as we're investing in human capital, that we must invest in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, that is what will bring about a sustainable economic growth. So the president has given us our directive. He has said you must make sure you pay salaries and pay pensions, but you also make sure that the critical projects of roads, railway, airports, bridges, major infrastructure that are meant to drive the growth of the economy, that we consistently invest in them, even if we have to continue to borrow to do so.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We started with a very aggressive response from the very beginning. If you remember the very first case in Nigeria, very well contained, very few infections arose from that. We started airport screenings and temperature checks way before anyone really understood what was going on. On the front lines of the response, the team here at the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, supported all the 36 states. At some point, we had teams in 32 of our 36 states concurrently, leading the response, the emergency operations centers, making sure we're getting the surveillance data, building up our information resources on our website. Our website became one of the most visited websites on the continent, as many other African countries were looking to the leadership Nigerians provided. At our Incident Coordination Center, people were working literally 14, 15 hours every single day.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We are all Nigerians. Against all odds, we shall and must remain united. We may have our challenges, our problems, and setbacks. However, together we shall overcome them all. What doesn't break us shall make us stronger. This is the mindset that shall bring peace, progress, and prosperity to our beloved country. Do not let tribal and religious sentiments govern how you think, act, or feel. Don't be influenced by those who want to destroy our precious national unity. Everybody who is a Nigerian is your brother and your sister. This is the mindset of the new Nigeria. It is also the mindset that we must all adopt. Let us support each other in creating the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Service of the NTA.
You said men are the head of the family. Oh yeah, now act like it.
Yeah. Oh. Hey. Ifoma, what is this now? Ifoma.
Hey.
Mr. Wonderful. Wonder. His name is Mr. Wonderful.
Many years of drinking Gary. I've never tasted Gary like this. It's very good.
Baruka, they were going in one corner. With your Gary, and that corner, the Victor Wifers, Miami Water, blasting away. Now, this is the life.
Do you know that the man actually saw Miami Water, white chili, and the babbage?
Baruka, please. Don't tell me you believe in that mumbo jumbo, because.
Then why don't you dislike the music then?
See, it's just like Ewa going. Ewa going is not my traditional food, but I just like it as food, that's all.
Mookie, why is your face carrying as if somebody where government owes 6 months salary like this?
Hello. Igume Resi get money, oh. Say, you see this money where they say, Igume Resi, say they want me, small pikin. Small pikin when they wear pampers, can't they make me, they feel like poor man, alone.
Just a form activity. You are actually a poor man.
Say they want me, wonderful, which kind of talk with that one
Okay, sorry, I take that back. You are a poor man, but you are an honest man.
I don't hear, but I know the thief. I do honest work. Say you understand? You get this guy where I just meet me. Allah,
Sandra
is biti bawo. Also, past tense. As you are moving forward, to Sandra. You get another new guy where I just cash me. Allah.
See, the way you are going. Sure, you know, say the more of them you get, the quicker you are to die.
Let's take it easy with this advice. You know, say the same rope tie me for neck.
Yeah, we die together now.
So me, I just meet this girl. No, if you see this girl fine. To watch you road drive, you see, the girl, she do her hair fine, she do orange hair like that. You don't understand? If you see her eyes, all long, eyes, man, come and do eyes. From the first day where I see her, my heart just skip 2 beats. Come like say Two Face, they walk inside studio, inside my heart. Oh no, you can't yellow, can't they shine like mommy water. Wait, so you believe in mommy water day? Say the any girl wey yellow, they say na mommy water. So once a girl is yellow, you are mommy water? I don't understand you. Because I don't understand why you could believe say mommy water day. Eh? Who tell you that kind of thing?
Mr. Wonderful, let the boy continue with his story. And later you go ask that question from Sir Victor Wifo.
I do about Tani Victor Wifo. He's a musician. He claimed that he saw a mermaid at the beach, but that he did not run. Say make I continue my story. Now they cut it to my transmission or no? Oh yeah, no. Okay, so I go carry this right again. Now I come okay. Take my color club, color flex. Some money on the okay. Maybe we go. So I should enter the club. And I should just go for the club. I can't see one smally. One small lady say, that time mama your whole phone, I just dey help am, dey give am small thing. So now you like it don't pick. The come time say okay, Egbon. Say Egbon Muki. Say my Martini. I say okay, say club mo one. I keep on saying be my Martina. He can say okay, when I give me alcohol, you understand? One Martini and one with 2 glasses, yo. I just beg you come along. Money making see or tea. As I just open am, I also make I pour for my own cup. You understand? I can't pour for the other cup. Now I can't look. I don't go see my mommy water again. You don't disappear. I don't disappear.
Oh my show.
Why you call the water? Should we say mommy water no exist? Don't say poor man no go fit handle mommy water. So mommy water no go fit accept to be friend with poor man. Now be the question. Oh no, I just go outside go dey find the girl. And they find her. You know where I come see her? Guess where I see? Oh, where? I come see her dey enter that boy motor, that small boy, because they buy motor.
Obaton. Oh my show.
See. No worry yourself. You be poor boy. I don't tell you before. And as you don't get money, mommy water cannot befriend you. Wonderful. Hello. Say the best, say the boy pick money.
Don't worry. God will give you another mommy water.
Say they want me, Baba. Mo so mi pe ọmọ fi mi sílẹ̀ wá motor. Say you wait till God first me pass. As you go enter the motor, DJ wa change orin ẹ fún mi. Ó wá kọ pé ó gbọ́mọ wá. Kò wá gbọ́mọ lọ. Ó gbáya wá o. Kò wá gbáya lọ. Bọ́dà yìí pé they mock me for the club ni. Ọlọ́run. Mo gbọ́mọ wá mi, gbọ́mọ lọ.
Mr. Wonderful. Wonder. His name is Mr. Wonderful.
Hooray! You can now buy and register a new Airtel SIM card and enjoy 8 times bonus on all your recharges. Visit any certified Airtel shop today with your NIN and get instant double data and 8 times bonus on every recharge. If you don't have NIN, you can also register for it at the Airtel shop. This offer is available to all new Airtel customers.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I am always thinking about your well-being, so when I learned that 7 out of 10 children in Nigeria are iron deficient and this slows their growth, affects learning, and can cause anemia, I got worried.
Mom is right.
One